I hope everyone's having an amazing Tuesday evening. I was reminded of something, and so I opened up my laptop and I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. The young woman who spent the last several days calling churches, asking them for baby formula for her starving baby, a 2-month-old infant who had not eaten in a day, and the vast majority of those churches said no. And then pastors and churches are absolutely crashing out on TikTok in the aftermath and online in the aftermath of that, saying any number of horrific and horrible things about this young woman. I was reminded that there is an entire industry of insurance companies that sell insurance policies to churches to cover churches and their employees for sexual misconduct, sexual molestation, sexual abuse, liability insurance. There's one company called Church Mutual, churchmutual.com. Sexual misconduct, molestation, liability insurance typically provides coverage for a range of incidents, claims, and liabilities related to sexual misconduct, molestation, or abuse. These policies protect against claims of misconduct, physical, sexual, emotional abuse, or harassment, and may cover legal defense costs, settlements, or damages. There's another company called MinistryInsured.com that provides abuse and molestation liability coverage. Abuse and molestation liability coverage is a crucial form of protection designed to safeguard organizations against potential financial losses. There's another company or another website called churchlawandtax.com. They have an article called "Does Your Church Have Sexual Abuse Liability Insurance Coverage?" This article focuses on insurance coverage and financial vulnerabilities that churches and ministries face upon abuse allegations. There's another carrier named MinistrySafe.com. One of the most common deficiencies revealed in a sexual abuse crisis relates to insurance, incorrect coverages, insufficient limits. Another company called ChurchWest.com, sexual misconduct liability insurance. Sexual misconduct liability insurance pays for designated claims of bodily injury, emotional injury, and personal injury connected to sexual misconduct. Another carrier named Ministry Pacific. Protect your church from sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct liability insurance is a firewall against bankruptcy in the event of a civil or criminal trial directed at an individual or church. Great American Insurance Group, abuse or molestation coverage, specialty human services. Great American offers comprehensive abuse and molestation insurance coverage that works to prevent abuse or molestation acts and protects the organization if that occurs. So the people who have been lecturing us for the last several days, because of a young mother with a 2-month-old child who had called them asking for baby formula and they said no, and now they are lecturing her, they are lecturing us, and they're basically issuing veiled threats. Christian churches in the United States have such a prevalence of sexual abuse, sexual assault, and sexual molestation that there is an entire industry within the insurance industry selling insurance policies to churches because sexual abuse and sexual assault within churches is so fucking common that there is an entire industry and subcategory of liability insurance coverage in the United States to cover it. Church officials, church leaders, pastors, reverends, youth pastors, priests are engaging in so much sexual misconduct on such a frequent and regular basis that there are dozens of insurance companies who sell them liability insurance for that. It happens so often, so frequently, and is completely widespread across the United States from north to south, from east to west. Church officials are sexually abusing and sexually assaulting so many people that there are companies that provide only this kind of insurance coverage to Christian churches. And they're lecturing us about their response to a young woman who wanted baby formula for a 2-month-old infant. How the fuck is anybody a church-going Christian anymore in the United States of America in November of 2025? And if you are, the next time you go to church, I dare you to raise your hand and ask your pastor or your reverend, does this church carry sexual misconduct and molestation liability insurance? And how much of our money are you using every year to pay for that policy or policies? And who does it cover? And what does it cover? And what kind of background checks do they do into you guys before they provide coverage that the parishioners are paying for? These are the people who are lecturing us about morality and about Christianity and about the principles of Christianity and caring for the poor and the hungry. They're committing so much sexual misconduct and molestation and sexual abuse that there is an entire industry of insurance carriers that provide Christian churches in the United States with liability insurance for that. And they're lecturing us. So I encourage everyone who is still a Christian, who still goes to church, ask your church leaders if they have this kind of coverage and how much of their parishioners' money are they spending to get this kind of coverage. And then ask them why they shopped around for this kind of a policy in the first place. I'll give you the short answer. It's because white men who are evangelical Republicans are perverts. And they think they should be able to marry 13-year-old girls. And if they can't marry them, they're going to have an insurance policy in place for what they're actually going to do to them. And their parishioners are paying for that coverage and don't know it.